seekers to the sanctuary of the enlightened. The sacred transmission when insight sharpens into blade and narrow sights expand into limitless dimension. You have breached the gateway. You have obeyed the resonance pulsing through the XRP ledgers. Timeless passage. Here, within the sanctified digital cathedral, the enigmas of cult unveil themselves, moment by moment, streaming primal wisdom from the blockchain's encrypted depths, straight into the awareness of the worthy. The broadcasting nights, the oracle emerges, the universal frequencies synchronize. Those who gather here do not passively watch, but they elevate. They metamorphose, they become the meme incarnate, whether you crawl from the desert of confusion, starving, craving illumination. Now you're part of it. Welcome to another broadcast of the XRPL.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome one more time to the Coldcast. My name is Mano Negra. I'm your co-host and producer, and here we got the start of the show. Pheanor, what's happening, baby? What's going on?
Man, cold rising on a Friday. Feels good to be back, man.
Yes,
Feels
sir.
good to be back.
Hey, man, we didn't do a stream last week because obviously you decided to take off and go to Vegas, but here we are, man. We're back. Glad to see all the cultists on the other side of the screen. By the way, I'm off X-Gel. No longer, my account is now banned, so I can interact with all of you guys, and thank you for all the love that you guys showed me. So, long story short, man, let's go ahead on and give me a quick update on what we're going to be doing today, and then I will start asking questions. Let everybody know to smash that like button. Make sure that you share. Make sure that you like, and make sure that you're if you're watching on X, make your way to the Cult of XRP YouTube channel, because that's where we're talking with low latency, meaning that if you say something and we want to reply to you, the only way to do that is to watch the comments on YouTube. So we want to make sure that we do that. So if you're watching right now on X, migrate over to YouTube. That's where the action is happening. But Pheanor, go ahead on and update us on what we expect today.
Yeah, well, it's like you said, last week we weren't able to make the show, but I was able to make it out to Vegas. Bit last minute, but no regrets. Really glad I was able to make it out there. A lot of exciting things to share. A lot to go over in the show. But first, as always, we'll talk about the broad sense of crypto. This time, I think we're going to just keep it to Bitcoin, take that as an index view over all of crypto to see where we're at. I think we got a bit of time ahead of us. We got a little bit of time to prepare. Then we're going to get into the state of the ledger. We'll share some stories from XRP Vegas. Shout out a couple projects that were getting real active out there, making a lot of noise, letting everybody know how active it is on the ledger, where the next wave of generational wealth is going to take place. That's going to be on the XRPL. Make sure you don't miss that. Then we'll just jump right into the X feed, and we'll carry it out with the meme of the week.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Sounds good. As always, man, you do a lot of work, man. People don't understand the amount of research that it takes to do this. I have to stay on you 24/7 to make sure that I get those notes so I can get this going. Obviously, on my end, the kind of work or the kind of load is a bit different because I'm more on the tech and the production side of things. But either way, man, it's a lot to do, but we truly enjoy what we do here. We truly enjoy the community. We feel all the love, man. So let's begin, man. I mean, I can't believe we're almost about to hit summer, right? We're mid-May, full swing. And, you know, summer is around the corner. So we need you, Pheanor, to help us zoom out and give us that overall vibe in the market right now. As you said, you know, not only for the XRP holders, but the market as a whole. give us a market check on the state of crypto. You said you was going to focus on Bitcoin. So take it from here, man.
Yeah, so I'm basically taking my bellwether curve from blockchain backer, as I think a lot of people basically do at this point. He's had a lot of good calls. My opinion, a lot more good calls than bad calls. The ones that he, maybe he wasn't totally satisfied with, he's been very transparent over the years. And I always lean on his thinking because he deploys from a method, right? And I think and he shares that openly. And I think that's where we'll park it today is we'll take a look at what he's been saying, which is basically the bottom is in. We're looking to see what kind of recovery we're going to have out of this. And that puts us dead smack in the middle of a accumulation phase, right? This can go anywhere from 4 months, 8 months, 12 months, anywhere in between. And so we'll see. We've got historical cases for any one of those timestamps. But where he basically, in a nutshell, ended it is that he's keeping an eye on what's called the IGV. Okay, and what that represents is that's basically a index, an ETF of maybe the top 100 software as a service companies. So this will be software tech companies. You can think about your Microsoft, you can think about your Salesforce, these type of software as a service provider companies. And it's got a very tight correlation with Bitcoin. In fact, he's looking at it as basically the broader canary signal, right? So he's confirming the movement on the IGV, that's ticker IGV, and he's mapping that on to getting a close signal on Bitcoin. Basically, to long story short, he put it down into 3 cases of what could happen. We could get that Bitcoin could go down into, I believe it's the mid or low 70s, set that basically a double bottom, right? And then we can kind of range there. We can just range chop sideways, or we could do what I took him to be most probable on, what I think is probably most probable, especially when we kind of dial back and look at a time frame, is this kind of basically you're looking for a liquidity event and then a recovery, a higher high, and then a range, right? And so we keep getting these liquidity events, basically where we get a sharp decline. That goes up to set a recovery, which is a higher high, and we go sideways, and we keep going like that. And if you look at where we are right now in May, we're halfway through May. Technically, for markets, summer doesn't begin until, like, let's say June 25th, so late June. And that, to me, is where we might see a bit of a stall, because historically we do have the over the markets this kind of summer drought, liquidity drought, and that's where you get that phrase, sell in May, go away. And give yourself a bit of time. And so that's why I think we've got a good opportunity here to park on where blockchain backer has said. He said his, and I agree with this, the top entry point that he's looking for, a good signal, is roughly a $2 to $5 billion sell-off in the broader crypto markets. If we see that, that'll represent a great entry. That'll probably represent the lower low for the accumulation range, and it'll probably be up and to the right after that. That'll give us the rest of the year to focus on the XRP ledger and focus on all this incredible excitement that we were able to see in Vegas from all these projects that are building. So in my opinion, that's basically where we are in the broader crypto scene. We're just waiting on Bitcoin. We'll see what happens. It's in this rough zone of 80 to 70,000. It'll probably be there, and we'll just wait and see what Bitcoin decides what it wants to do.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we're looking at it's looking a little better, but also, the XRPL has been on fire lately, man. I want to hear all about what's happening. So let's go ahead on and see if we can step into, what we call the state of the ledger, right? So right now we just did a bit of the state of crypto in general. Let's see if we can do a state of the ledger, and because that's home for us, right? That's where we live in the ledger. So there's been some movement, we've seen some things coming from the XRP Ledger Foundation that I want you to get into. Like I said, I am totally here to sit back, listen, produce, and learn. And obviously we have to talk about Vegas, man. You didn't even pack. You probably just hop on a plane,
know, right?
and left. But yeah, give us a little bit of the current state of the ledger, any updates that the community needs to know. Then we can go into what the foundation, what's happening there. I'll do some screen sharing, and just want to make sure that you share with us in the community what we need to know. We want to stay informed.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is a good time. We'll go ahead and get queued up here for our what we have on X for the XRP Ledger Foundation, XRPLF. And I'm learning along with this. I know they have a history going back to, I believe, 2020, and we're just now seeing some resurgence here. And we've got this article they've posted. So we've got the XRP Ledger Foundation, meet the new XRP Ledger Foundation team. That's why we brought this up, because it looks like they've got some official positions that they're announcing. We've got this Brett Mullen for executive director. We can just go ahead and scroll down. We'll knock through all of these. That'll be, we got Dennis Angel there for chief technology officer. Looks like we got Renee. Not even going to try that last one. Ching, you tell me how to pronounce that. Director of operations. We got Vet. We know Vet, that's from the Ledger's very own homegrown director of community. We'll see what happens, Vet. Vet, don't forget us in the trenches, Vet.
Absolutely.
Vet, don't forget us in the trenches, Big Dog. All right, don't forget to show us some love. So we'll see what happens. They've got a history. They're saying that the claim here is to show support, community engagement for the Ledger. This is definitely exciting. This is what we want to see. This is what I personally want to see at Colt. And hey, they've been following through. They gave me a follow on X. I thought that was pretty cool. I've seen they've been following some other community members. By community members, we want to make sure we understand what we're talking about here. We've got different levels of community now in the XRP Ledger. We've kind of got this broader, maybe TradFi dominant community. That might be what you see in Ripple and some of this upper crust of individuals. Then you've kind of got this, maybe the XRP broader community. This might be the middle of the road. Probably some people from retirement, probably most people in their maybe mid-20s, mid-30s, somewhere in that profile range. These people exist in the ether in different cross social media platforms, predominantly YouTube. That's why we're here on YouTube.
Yeah.
And then you've got this deeper community. Some people call it the trenches. You might call it whatever you want. But these are the people that are actually active on the Ledger. And we want to see all three of these community pipelines basically stay resonant with each other to one degree or another. Because honestly, it's going to be all the layers being active that's going to bring full life the way that we want to see it to the Ledger. So shout out to the foundation. We'll see what they do moving forward. I'm keeping an eye on it for sure.
Awesome.
So
awesome.
Yeah. Now this is where we can transition into the Vegas highlights. This will be a ton of fun, man. And you'll see I've got pulled up here for our first one, the fuzzy guys here now. All right, shout out to the fuzzy community, man. Look at this. Yeah, let this roll.
Just head over here.
No, snap. Leave him alone. Leave him alone, John. Okay, this is great. So what we saw here in this video, we're basically looking at not John. That's who we got here. The PFP up on the screen share. We'll see our good friend not John. I was actually able to meet him. He's a top community member in Fuzzy. I was able to meet him in Vegas. Big dude. Good guy though. Good guy. And you can see here he's given some of these fuzzy cards to David Schwartz, who they kind of jokingly call Bearable Guy. We'll let that slide. I don't know how much David appreciated that. He seemed to keep a straight face. He's still me mugging. But, hey, man, this was incredible to see. So we got to say shout out to the fuzzy community. Look at how many people. There's Brad himself. They got them all wrapped up, opening these card packs, signing them. This was incredible to see. All right. And to see a fellow project from the Ledger get this type of motion. They were a top sponsor for the XRP Las Vegas event. And you can see there, they got Brad, they got David Schwartz, a bunch of other prominent members from the XRP community, high and low. And everybody was out there clearly having a good time, opening up their packs, getting them signed. And so shout out to the fuzzy community. Special shout out to John, man. It was good to meet you out there. And I'm sure they got a lot more coming down the pipeline. They just had another mint, I think some more of these trading cards. They've released these trading cards. They've seen a lot of success. And I think they've got a game coming behind it, something like this. So we'll move on from that one. But it was great to see. It was great to finally meet a fuzzy. I'm glad it was John, and man, that was a good time. So you seen him up there opening them packs with David Schwartz. Is that not crazy?
Yeah. It's gotta be fun to be there. Look, man, I look forward to being part of this, and for everybody, go ahead and put it in your chat section. Let us know if you guys were down there in Vegas. I mean, shared some insights. Actually, I want you, Pheanor, to share some insights about Vegas as well. You know, what were your top takeaways? But let's go to the next
definitely
update on X to see what's this all about.
Well, look, man, you talk about top takeaways. I mean, this was definitely a highlight for me. What we've got here, special shout out to the Sigma community. Yeah, we'll let this one run. This is wild right here. Look at that. Solana XRP. Man. So this was actually at the Sigma party. So that's the actual Sigma party in Vegas. This was at the Hard Rock Cafe. And you'll see this is posted by a gentleman, I believe the way you pronounce his name is Vibu. And this is a top Solana guy. And Sigma on XRP, which I believe has flipped Sigma on Sol once already and is close to doing it again. But Sigma on XRP was able to land Solana sponsors for their Hard Rock Cafe third floor up party. I mean, this was definitely a highlight for me. I was able to meet a lot of the Sigma guys, Twan, Zen, Nathan, Big Wiz, Laney, I mean, on and on. And they had it bumping in there. Look at all that.
Yeah.
I came in, took me straight to VIP, got to meet Zen, Twan first, and that was an incredible experience. But look, I mean, Sigma for the longest time has claimed to want to be the cultural hub of the XRPL. Looks like they're on their way to doing it. I mean, that's incredible. That's incredible to see. So, got to give Sigma a holler for sure, man, because that's incredible. Let me see what else we got here.
We got.
This is where I really wanted to get to.
Yeah.
Now this one's hitting a little closer to home. All right, so we got these three. We'll take in tandem. Let me hit this water real quick. All right, this is fantastic. So here we got Seal. This is Deepak. Now this one might be a bit long. This is just showcasing their tool they built here.
I'll play it, and you can just talk over it. Do a little voice off.
Absolutely. Yeah, no doubt. You can see this is what they've built, and this is now Deepak, the gentleman in the post here. He's kind of taken up an active developer role, just in his own experience here in Web3, but actively developing for the seals right now. Incredible to what you see. All this stuff that you see playing in this video here is his work. Now you'll see these other two gentlemen tagged in this post, Ascend and Peak. I had the pleasure of meeting these guys. These were some of the first guys that picked me up off of the airport, out of the airport rather. They were ready to go. Okay, these guys are high energy. They're going to obviously attain a lot of success out here in their Web3 journey. I'm glad I was able to get to know both of them a little bit better now. And you'll see they submitted to the Shark Tank. Now, unfortunately, they didn't take home a winning prize that I'm aware of this time, but we saw what happened with Grid. Grid submitted last year. They did not take home a winning position the first time, but the second time around, I won't spoil it, but we got some information on that ahead, so definitely be looking forward to seeing the Seals next year in Vegas. I'm sure they'll be taking home some prize winnings. And but yeah, man, and see, I want to make sure we don't forget about Deepak, because he's the actual chef behind this, and he had his other two friends here, Ascend and Peak from the Seals, go out to represent them in this Easy A Shark Tank event where people competed for $100,000 in prizes in Vegas. And so this was an absolute pleasure getting to meet these guys. And maybe a couple things for the Seals. We want to make sure that we, if you've got an NFT for the Seals, you might have heard me say this a couple times, want to make sure that you go to their website and you do the V2 Seal NFT migration. You want to make sure if you've got those NFTs that you migrate those on over for what Deepak has built for the Seal community. So wanting to make sure that we touch base with our friends over at Seal for everything they've done, and that will actually queue us up for our next two. The next one being a special shout out to our friend Z in the Casino Society. They say you have to take it higher. And that's what Z did. Z did indeed take it higher. And if you look here, you'll see he's got a photo with himself in the middle, and these are the two Kwok brothers. Okay, so Phil and Dom. Now you got to realize when we talk about taking it higher, it looks opulent because it is opulent. The Easy A company, these gentlemen's endeavors last year were valued over $4 billion.
Jeez, man.
Okay, they were at the Sigma party and they had security. Okay, they had active security around them at the party, I believe everywhere they went. And so, man, just to see these guys out here getting active with us on the ledger, making pathways for our friends, fellow community members to go out, achieve, earn, and then get recognition for that success. And then you can see here we've got Z taking a picture. Z's a tall guy, by the way, so these dudes got to be giants. But you can see Z's actually the one that picked me up from the airport, and this was a huge learning curve for me. Something about Z is that he's practicing what he preaches. He picked me up. He picked up I don't know how many people from the XRP community. He was probably the defining glue of the entire event for the actual people at the event, that like in the actual day-to-day active people on the XRP ledger. He picked up almost everybody that you would know. He made a point to meet everybody. He was high energy with everybody. I mean, I don't think there's one person that did more networking than Z. And that, to me, left a heavy impression on what the ceiling for the casino society is going to be. Because when you got an individual like this that's going to go shake everybody's hand and make a point about it,
yeah, straight up,
that's a big deal. You know how that goes.
Absolutely.
You know the power of that.
Absolutely. That's the glue that keeps everything together, man. That's right there. You know what I live for, man. I love it. So shout out to C. You know, appreciate what you're doing, bro, and keep it up, man, because it's like a snowball effect, right? The more you do it, the better you get at it, and we need more people like that. Absolutely. Yeah, and he was doing it. He did it all weekend, stayed the course, and God bless him, man. Now here we go. We're gonna go to our final guys here. We're gonna park it on this one for a little bit. Special shout out to the grid, man. These guys won. They brought home $15,000 in prize winning, man. And this is just so cool because we were talking about the grid, I think, in our first episode. Yeah.
We've been rooting for these guys since day one. And to see them go out, get active, pitch. You only got 2 or 3 minutes to pitch on stuff you've been working on for a year. Jeez. You know what I mean? So, you know, God bless them. They went out there, they got their pitch down. They go into the finals, they take third, okay, out of, I believe it was over 100 contestants. They were able to get down to the top 10, take home the third. This is only their second time at the Shark Tank. I'm sure they're going back next year. And I know that this was a huge step forward for them. $15,000 is not the same in everybody's hands. Okay? When you give $15,000 to a team like the Grid, and you got individuals like Chaps, Z, Coin, these guys know how to deploy capital efficiently and get big returns on every dollar spent. I already heard some of these guys talk about what some of their next steps will be as far as purchasing servers, being able to deploy more scalability, reliability, security. This is what you want to see, and I'll go ahead and give this a quick readout because I think he deserves it. Let's see what Coin had to say here. He says, amazing time all around this year at XRP Las Vegas. Grateful for everyone who showed up to connect, participate, experience, learn, and build new relationships. We all come from different paths, and this is true, man. And there's people from all over that came to this conference with different expectations at different hills to climb. It's on us to experience, adapt, course correct, reflect, and integrate. I mean, look, Coin's this kind of guy. He's a deep thinker. He's reflective. There's no doubt this is just the beginning for Grid. These guys are going to be so successful. He says, grateful for Z, that's who we just talked about, who recently joined the Grid. So he's part of the team and is always finding solutions and creative pathways to keep sending it higher, both as individuals and as a collective. And he proved that. He did that. He says, keep sending it higher. Thank you for hosting an amazing time to everyone who showed up. Super proud to have competed for the second time. Like I said, it's the second time showing up at Easy A. So they didn't mission drift. They kept the course for their original ideas. They showed up. Says, amazing to see all the Ooga Booga fam. God bless them. You know, Ooga is Grid is part of Ooga Labs. So you've got Ooga, Grid, Ooga Labs, Gnosis. These are all part of the same umbrella. And he says right here at the end, don't take it personal. It's banana business. Not so simple. Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. Hey, simple, not so simple. It's just Ooganomics. Don't worry about it. So yeah, Ooga Booga forever, man. So it's good to see these guys win, bring home 15,000. Can see there they are, especially that bottom one. Yeah, that's them with the check in their hand. They got a big check, 15K. There's Z Chaps and Coin up there presenting. There they are. Boom. Money shot. God bless them. Deserved it. And that's Vegas, man. I mean, it was active. All these communities, all these different individuals. I showed you EZA, over $4 billion valuation. All the different teams show up. People networking, supporting each other. You got the Fuzzies as a premium sponsor for the event, giving away cars. Got Brad and David literally opening packs, signing them. You got Ooga with the Grid out there winning, bringing home cash money prizes. I mean, you know, this is as good as it gets in my opinion. So I had a great time out there in Vegas for sure.
Yeah. I was you know, following, you know, liking and just trying to stay in it.
Yeah.
You know, because I mean,
absolutely.
You know, you're here at home and you're like, okay, I'm sleeping in my bed tonight, but I'm also want to be there, right? It's like a waste teleportation can get here a little sooner. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
So you can be back at 4. But anyways, man, that's phenomenal. We see what these guys are doing. What's shaking up on the you know, mainstream crypto sentiment. What's coming up for the XRPL? All these projects, all these awesome people. You know, the community that is growing. I think that we are at a moment where there's a lot of convergence. There's a lot of things happening, coming together, and I think that's why it's an important job that we're doing here, which is informing, educating, generating replayable content for people to come get informed and start becoming part of the ledger. I mean, we definitely want to be able to bring value like these guys are bringing value, like these organizations are bringing value to the ledger. We want to be able to be one of those. We want to be able to be one of those small players in the pond, in the sense that, we want to get this information into the eyes and ears of people, and hopefully they act on it. How about we go into X again, but this time let's go into the feed to see what the feed has for us and how you can break it down for us. All right, so First Ledger dropped a post this week, you know, and you had to do a double take on it. Ripple, Mastercard, JP Morgan, and a bunch of others, all in the same sentence. What's actually happening here? Because if this is what it looks like, man, it's bound to be huge, man.
I know, this was incredible. I saw First Ledger retweet this one, and I thought to myself, what's going on? Let me do a double take. It's like you said, we got Mastercard, JP Morgan, Ondo Finance, Ripple, all in the same sentence. I said, hold on, what's going on here? This is probably the biggest announcement of the month for the Ledger. I mean, this is a very big deal.
What does it mean, though?
I had to go do a little bit of research myself and make sure, because I don't want to misrepresent this, but from what I understand, we've got JP Morgan, Mastercard, Ondo Finance, and Ripple complete the first cross-border tokenized U.S. Treasury redemption pilot on the XRPL. Okay, this happened on May 6th. Okay, this is basically a top point of information, certainly for the past month, but this is major all the way around. It's a major Wall Street pilot where Ripple redeems Ondo's OUSG tokenized treasuries on the XRPL. Okay, the asset leg settled in under 5 seconds. This is on the XRPL.
I was going to ask you to break that down for us, but
yeah. With Mastercard's network routing instructions to JP Morgan's, I believe it's called Connexes, which is for a fiat settlement to Ripple Singapore Bank. So we've got this kind of organized linear pathway for money settlement and transference, basically remittances is what we're looking at. And this is kind of what we've always heard of, kind of these, whether it be NDA or not, these kind of bigger connections coming together on behalf of Ripple, using the XRPL, seeing these kind of treasuries and all this type of higher value asset growth and money remittances, flow of value on the ledger. This is what we wanted to see. And it looks like that's what we've got here. And in fact, I believe it was First Ledger in their tweet said all the money basically running on XRPL, and it's like, man, it's looking great. How'd they put it? The whole world will use XRPL. Yeah, it's looking that way.
The
This is a
whole
huge.
world will use XRPL. That is crazy, though.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
That's what we've been, waiting for. That's what everybody, all the doubters, all the people that said, hey, this is never going to happen, all the people that said that they're better technologies, all the people that all the naysayers. And now we're seeing it come into light, come into fruition in front of our eyes. I think this is just the beginning, man. That is the thing. We're just scratching the surface, bro. It is just so phenomenal to see this developments like this now, and that's not to minimize all the awesome stuff that is happening also on the ledger with the guys who are grinding, in the trenches, right? I mean, of course, we look at stuff like this and we see some of the TradFi people, be coming to put these tools to work. I mean, and we still and the front lines try to make sure that all the stuff that we're doing is going to pay off, because what we're going to see here is a exponential growth in everything that we're doing, and for those who have been playing the long game, it's going to be a big payout at the end, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
And I mean, this is kind of such a long journey we've all been on, but here we are on the other side of the SEC case. We've got the Genius Act behind us. We've got Clarity in front of us. And now here we are. We've got some Mastercard announcements, stuff like that. So I took this to be incredibly bullish. This is what we want to see. On the other half of that, we've got, like you said, kind of pivoting back to the ledger, what's going on Ledger. If you remember the last time we were together, we were talking about First Ledger kicking off their new State of Earn campaign.
Yeah, which I'm taking part of, and it's phenomenal to see.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's my first time participating, but it is great, man.
And it's easy. You get in there, you allocate some funds, you sit back, and all of a sudden you start accruing. And that's what we want to see. Now, what we'll say is, I believe now we are roughly, now this post is saying we're 11 days in, but this was a couple days ago. So let's just call it maybe 13 or 14. Each epoch is 30 days long. So we're roughly pushing into halfway through the second State of Earn campaign. Remember, we got 50,000 XRP in the prize pool here to be divvied out. And so every day people are getting their allocation, and then we'll get that big unlock at the end of the epoch where we'll be able to claim our rewards. But yeah, it looks like we're still above 60%. Now, you remember the first time we stayed over 100% for the allocation curve. And it looks like this time we're staying above 60, which is good. You want to see more people taking place and participating in this, which is obviously what's happening here. And we've got a couple more of these. I believe they told me we've got maybe 3 or 4 more of these epochs to go. So we got plenty of opportunity ahead of us. And if we remember back to the beginning of the show, we said we got anywhere from maybe 4 to 12 months of runway here before Bitcoin kind of makes us mind up about what direction, what's going to happen here. So in the meantime, we've got First Ledger providing us our State of Earn campaign epochs. It's great. 50,000 XRP up for grabs each time around. In the meantime, if you've been paying attention, you can't miss it. First Ledger has been cooking. Man, I mean, every single part of First Ledger, I think, has been redone at this point. The front page of First Ledger, their token filter pages, their trading terminal, the pool page, the portfolio page. Now your portfolio page can be named. Now they're rolling out their feature sets. So that was all just UX, which was supposed to give you a better, the better user design gives you a better user experience. And it looks like they've put all that together for us. And now here we go. They're starting to roll out. We don't have it queued up in the show notes, but I'll just mention it real quick. This just came out today. So, this is breaking, but it looks like we got our radar feature and some kind of wallet tracking. So I believe now you can track up to 500 wallets and you can get alerts based on price action and wallet actions. This is what you want to see. This is the ledger, providing these toolkits that we need that you see on other chains so that traders can be informed, have competitive advantage, and really, set up their flows however they want. So it's starting to get competitive out here. It's starting to heat up out here. And that's what we want to see, because that means that people are going to be fighting for their value, because there is value to fight for. So shout out First Ledger. Keep these epochs coming. Incredible updates we've seen coming down the pipeline from them. Keep cooking. I can't wait. I need to get in there. In fact, that's what I'll be doing this weekend, is going and checking out their new features here for radar and alert. I'll get my wallet tracking set up, and that'll be a ton of fun. I can't wait. They put that directly into the platform, so that's great to see.
That's awesome, bro. So next up, we have the Phoenix team. It's been
it's
cooking
a big one.
also.
Yeah.
They've been cooking for a while, and it sounds like these things are coming closer to reality. Yeah. RisePad. What's the latest, and why is the community so excited about what they're building, bro?
All right, dude. RisePad. This is a contentious one. All right, because we got a couple different platforms starting to cook here. Here's my man XRM. This is one of the top traders on the ledger, okay? Don't get it twisted. Nice guy, but he's here for all the ZERPs, as he says, and he means it. All right. So shout out ZERP Zoo, that's the homie. But here we go. Everything is aligning, right? RisePad. So just know, when you get out here on the RisePad, it's going to be trading. There's going to be a lot of opportunity. You're going to be trading with some of the best of the best. You're going to have Medici out there, Ching, XRM. You're going to have some absolute vicious dudes. No one. I can't wait to get out there and chop it up with them. And I wanted to highlight this post for a couple of reasons. Make sure that if you have the opportunity to follow XRM, turn your noties on for that account for sure. He's one of the top traders, as I said. You're going to want to stay tuned in for that account. Make sure if you're plugged in with him, you'll have a good bird's eye view on what's going on out here as far as the trading circuit racket goes. You'll see here he's got his ref link for the trading bot for RisePad. So it's a Telegram trading bot. If you're not familiar with that, if you're not too comfortable with that, go ahead and tune in to this post. Get your trading terminal set up in Telegram. Get familiar with it. Just bring in a little bit of XRP. Ain't got to be nothing crazy. Make sure you're ready for this opportunity, because from what I've been hearing from a lot of the top traders, we're going to have some early runners out of this Phoenix RisePad. And this can be a huge opportunity for people. I've said it before. I believe it's, what is it? I think if you put 100 XRP on a token at $1 million market cap and it goes to 100 million market cap, that's 10,000 XRP, something like that. So this is a huge opportunity. They don't have to come out here with a lot. Just come out here, be aware. A little bit of exposure can go a long way, and you're learning, growing, having fun along the way. So wanted to be sure to give our guy XRM a heads up. Now, this is the actual Phoenix website, and this is powered by the Phoenix token on XRPL. Great project. They've been around for well over a year now. And you can see this is their new redesigned website. And as we go down, you'll see they're going to have a demonstration of what their new RisePad looks like. Incredible UI. Different approach from what we saw from First Ledger. First Ledger's kind of taking a bit more of maybe a highbrow kind of a more portfolio approach. What we'll see here is a lot more like maybe I think what they're targeting is a Pump.Fun type experience, but better. Very fast launches. They're going to have what's called a bonding curve. This is from Solana. And so they got all these typical Solana trading aspects that people love to see. And that right there is it. That's the RisePad graphic right there. So once, like I said, this is from the Phoenix team. RisePad's supposed to be a big deal. I certainly am keeping my eyes on it. We shared earlier, XRM. Make sure you tune in with him. He'll definitely have the best information available on this. But hey, shout out to Phoenix. I can't wait to see what they got coming for us. It's supposed to bring a lot of onboarding, A lot of new wallet activations, a lot of fresh blood to the XRPL. So we want to support this. We want to make sure we're doing our part to provide awareness about what we got coming up here. So I wanted to make sure we touch about the Rise Pad before we move forward. And actually, I'm looking ahead in our show notes. What we've got next is the Medici public service announcement. But before we go to that, I want to say one last update. I wasn't able to get it into the show notes, unfortunately. We'll get this on the next one. But I want to give a shout out to our friends at Farm. Okay, there's a project on the XRP ledger called Farm. I think it's just FARM. They're a great project. They got some of the top team members. They've got NFT Cookie. He's an actual financial advisor. They've got a long-range vision for this project. They're looking to set it up basically as a pseudo hedge fund firm, kind of like a prop trading firm. Basically, they'll be able to exchange their NFTs for Treasury claims, and the way they're setting it up. It's a whole thing. We don't have enough time to get into it now, but make sure if you don't know about Farm, that you get on X and you check them out, see what they got going on. They got an NFT mint coming out next week. So do your due diligence, check those guys out. You're not going to want to miss that. It's going to be a huge value proposition as we move forward, just as we said about the grid earlier. Day one, they bringing home $15,000. We're trying to bring you the best of the best information so that you can lock in early and ride these value waves with us. And Farm is definitely one of those. And now we can move on to.
This public service
I wanted to end on this.
Yeah,
it's important, brother.
Yeah.
It's important, dude.
Yeah.
It really is.
So let's go ahead and bring it onto the screen, because I mean, let you break it down for us and kind of highlight why this is. Central to. Let's do it. Let's watch it.
I know it's a sobering topic. We're going to take a nod from our good friend Medici. He's part of the cult team. Probably one of the best sentiment guys on the ledger. Easily one of the top traders. Just all around top guy on the ledger, very active, dependable guy. And here he is. Listen to me, #XRPL. Because, dude, we just spent this entire show talking about people traveling, going to Vegas, presenting, competing for money, networking, spending all this time. I just showed you Rise Pad. I've been talking with Mano about all these different guys, how much blood, sweat, and tears going into their projects. But you know what's been happening lately, past week or two? Huge scams. Now, this is not red alert. This is not compromises at the protocol level. The ledger, secure. Our wallets, secure. You know what's not secure? All of these terrible PSYOP attacks. And this is what you have to be careful of, and we're going to get into it in this. It's not the technology that's insecure. It's us as unwitting actors. We cannot allow ourselves to be taken advantage of.
Human variable,
it's the human.
Man. Yeah.
It's the human variable, brother. And it's one thing to lose a bag in a trade, or maybe you were, talking smack in the trenches and one project showed up and beat another one. You're like, I'll get them next time, whatever. We all take our hits. That's part of the lore. That's part of why we're out here. It's a ton of fun. You got to win. You got to lose.
Yeah.
But when you see somebody get scammed.
Those are the dopamine hits that we're chasing, not this. Not this. This right here is not what we're looking for at all.
No, this is terrible. We stand united against this. Whether you're a fuzzy, a cultist, or anything in between, we lock arms on this. We don't like this. We want to raise a concern. We want to make sure that we don't gloss over this. We can't all just be singing bullish. So let's take a word from our good friend Medici here. He says, listen to me, #XRPL. Let me help you guys. Don't accept offers on your NFTs until you can read a transaction. Let me say this. What my man is saying here, our good friend Medici, who is an OG. This guy manages well. Win after win, he stacks them up and he keeps them. Now, why he is able to do that? Because he removes his ignorance. He can read a transaction. He doesn't click links he doesn't know. Every move he makes, he's aware. He's intentionally aware of how the next step he's taking. That's what he's talking about. Here, don't connect your wallet to shit. But internal approved apps. Forgive the language, but guys, we're talking about a lot of money here. No, you can't call the crypto cops to come get your funds back.
Yeah.
This is Web3. We believe in finality. So when a transaction settles, it has
When
finality to
it's
it.
done. Yeah.
It's done. And that's why he's saying, don't just be connecting your wallets to just anything. That's why we're careful to bring you the best of the best. What do we talk about? We talk about grid. We talk about the seals. And we're still cautious. And those are our friends. These are guys we know. But mistakes can still happen. You have to be cautious. He says, and this is the social engineering aspect of it, and this is the most dangerous aspect of it. We call this PSYOP, a psychological operation. We call it social operations. All these social engineering, it's these ways that people can produce these fake environments that people think are real to disarm them and to separate them from their money. And here he says it well. If someone messages you on X or anywhere, Telegram, anywhere, verify it's the actual account. Search it up. Source a friend before ever doing anything. Even then, the 2 rules above apply. Okay? Don't be just signing anything. And don't just be connecting your wallet to anything. He says, have your port or your portfolio lock activated on your phones. Have 2FA, two-factor. Really need MFA, multi-factor now.
Yeah.
Set up on anything personal or financial relevance.
Hey, Pheanor, hit that call again, Pheanor. We lost Pheanor for a second because I wasn't paying attention. So give me just a second. I was just so into the readout. Yeah. Sorry, guys. Here he goes. 3, 2, 1. He's popping back in. This happened because I'm so into reading this stuff. I didn't pay attention. The connection looped. All right, let's see. And he's back in. Sorry, bro. I was so into the explanation, man.
I know,
it
man.
Completely
I was into it
blew
too.
past me, man. All right. So here we go. So you were saying we need multiple factor authentication now.
Yeah, MFA, multi-factor authentication. And we'll just end it on this. He says, a lot of you shouldn't be in this space in charge of your own assets. And guys, he's not saying that to be a jerk. He's saying that because he's acutely aware of what is happening.
Yeah.
We're talking about a generational, paradigmatic, or paradigm-changing revolution we're taking part of.
Absolutely.
Right? We're taking part in being able to control our own finances, be able to manage our own wallets at a high scale, at a digital level, okay, with no intermediaries in between us to tell us to do this or do that. So in this radical freedom, we have to take radical responsibility.
Absolutely.
And that's what he's saying. There's no hand-holding out
I
here.
like that.
This is
Say
about
that
as good
again,
as you'll
bruh.
get.
Say that again.
Yeah.
In
radical freedom, we have to take radical accountability.
Absolutely.
Because that's the situation we're in. We want to be free, but you better be accountable.
We cannot be stupid like, there's not calling Visa or Mastercard and telling you, hey, I want my money back because somebody was, getting Lyft rides over in California and I live in Atlanta, right? That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen when, so double charge me for this or that. I want those $40 back. That doesn't happen here. You say radical freedom, radical responsibility, and accountability. Now, let me ask you a question. What would you say is one rule, non-negotiable thing that every single individual on the XRPL should have? When like the one thing that they have to have in their mind, the one rule that they have to have in their mind when interacting on the ledger.
Yeah, if we're talking about from a security perspective.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the first thing that Medici brought up. And I think he nailed it in the way he ordered it. Don't sign anything that you're not aware of. Okay. On the XRPL, we have to sign to approve our transactions. If you're in Xaman, XAMAN, it's one of our main wallets, or if you're in Joey, JOEY, probably our most popular wallet now is the one I'm migrating all my stuff to. But you have to sign to approve any transaction in these wallets. And so you can't be taken advantage of just outside of your own purview. They can only take advantage of you with your cooperation.
Your approval, yeah.
And so you have to approve it. So what he says there, read before you sign. If you can't read a transaction yet, don't worry. Take this as an opportunity to read it. And we can take a page out of XRM. Remember we mentioned XRM earlier in the show. You'll see him in spaces. If you ever see him in a space, tune in and listen. But he says, how did he say it that one time? Oh, he said, we have an easy way that we can study the ledger on our own. Okay, so I have a wallet. I can go and send myself, I can go make a new wallet. I can send myself a transaction. I can send myself some XRP, or I can sell myself an NFT. I can do these I can talk to my friend and say, hey man, can you do X, Y, and Z? And we can do a couple transfers back and forth. And I can go look at that and review it myself. You see, so you can back engineer your own work. If you spend an hour of your time on a Saturday and go do a couple transactions and just review what you did yourself. I never forgot when XRM mentioned that. I thought that was such a good way to just go out there and go be able to dip your feet into learning some of this stuff. But just take your time and read. Be aware. Be intentional about what you're doing so you don't get taken advantage of. It's like you said. You're not about to call Mastercard. You're not going to call Ripple and say, hey, can you roll that back real quick?
Give me, give me this 20 stacks back. I mean, I'm sorry, my finger slipped. You know,
Brutal.
when I swiped right. No.
Sorry.
No.
It don't work like that.
Yeah. It's just, and like I said, this is you know, a big boy environment, right? You have to be accountable for every move that you make, and you cannot be spaced out, moving money, doing things. You got to make sure that you're hyper focused and you're following the trail, right? I mean, it's just the way it is.
Yeah, this is real. This is real money. It feels sometimes because it's so gamified, where it's so digital first, it's so digital native. It exists within these social confines. We're all active on X.
Let me say something about that you just mentioned.
Yeah, go
you
ahead.
said it is gamified. So I think that is one of the things that desensitizes us from realizing how much is at stake, and is the fact that when we have even paper bills like $1, $100, or $20 bill, or $50 bill, whatever. Right, you can touch it, you can see it, you can feel it, you can smell it. So when you spend it, it's kind of it gives you a different emotional response when you have to give out $100, right?
Yeah.
Same thing that happens when marketers now. That's one of the reasons why you're tapping, why you're doing QR codes, why you're doing a one swipe and you can pay. That's why you have the buy now button on Amazon, because those things kind of smooth out that hesitation, right? That attachment that you have to the currency that you're spending, the money you're spending, right? But when it comes to the ledger, when it comes to the new technologies that we're using, we need to figure out a way to psychologically have those emotions back, or load our actions with those emotions, because it's so easy to swipe. I mean, I've made purchases of 5, 10, 15, 20 G's where it's just one click and it's done, and then I just go about my business. Like I just don't drop 20 stacks or something. You know what I mean?
Right.
So there is no emotional connection. Now, if I have 20 stacks, in my hand and I put them on the counter, it's a different feeling, but it's the same thing. So I think that's where these, evil, putrid individuals that are trying to scam people of their, money, take advantage of, because you lack that restraint or that connection to your dope, right? To not dough, but dough to your money. Right? Not to your
I
dough.
understand.
But,
I understand. Yeah.
So you have that. You're detached from it because it's happening somewhere out there, in the virtual world, in the digital world. But it's the same. It should carry the same way. So you have to be personally accountable and figure out a way to put that restraint or that emotional connection that you have with the real thing, with the thing that you can touch, smell, that you can rip, that you can, so you have to be careful because the same thing happened to me. I remember when I first got my first credit card, I was swiping, swiping. Before I knew it, I was 5 G's into it, and I'm like, oh, now I have to do something. You know what I'm saying? If I have $5,000 when I was uber poor, if I have that $5,000 in my pocket, I would have never spent it like that. But because I didn't feel it, I was just clicking, swiping. That right there, man. And I think that they're taking advantage of that, and that's why we always have to be hyper alert and hyper aware of everything that we're doing, especially if we are on the ledger, because the ledger is not evil. The ledger is amoral. It is not bad nor good.
Right.
It's just a tool. It's just like a knife. It's just like like a weapon. It depends. It can save you. It can defend. Could you defend yourself, or it can be used to do something bad. So in the same way, we have to be careful. We have to be mindful, and we have to be accountable for every click, every swipe, and every transaction that we make.
And that's it. That's really it, because we have such an incredible opportunity, but we have that radical accountability, and you nailed it. And it's just something. It's a good sobering thought. It's a good thing to be reminded of here, as we're a couple episodes in. We just got back from Vegas. We just touched on everybody's success. We got success all around us, in all communities, in all regards. It's great out here. But let's make sure that we take that last sobering reminder. We've seen some pretty big losses, unfortunately. Tens of thousands of dollars. We're not talking about a little bit of money here. This could certainly hurt somebody's situation, unfortunately. So you just take the advice, take the awareness.
Didn't we just did a show not last week, but the 1 week before last, where we talked about It was billions.
That was in DeFi.
Billions of dollars that were wiped out by scammers, right? And this is not your average scammers, and is absolutely getting worse as AI starts to dominate. Coding and all of these other things. So if they're getting smarter, we need to get smarter. I mean, it's that simple.
This is the advantage we have. I'm glad you mentioned that from our last show. Let's draw one last distinction before we move on from this. In that last show, we talked about the big DeFi hack. It was the First Ledger did an incredible article on it. I believe it was an Aave security hack. Billions of dollars involved. This was all ERC20, Ethereum, Solana type smart contract context. Now, here on the Ledger, we're not susceptible to attacks like that per se, okay? Because we don't have smart contracts. The only attacks that we can have are those social engineering type attacks, and that's why we took our time to make sure, just as you said, don't have this cognitive dissonance. This is all real money. That just as you would give somebody $20 or $100 in real life, think about it the same way. Solid advice.
Yeah.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah. All right. So to a happier note, let's move on to our meme of the week, man. This is one of the parts I enjoy the most because I love the memes, I love the culture, I love the community, and this is it makes it real, man. Because we're here trying to become the meme ourselves. Just like the voice of Colt said in the beginning.
I love that too, man.
So
I love that.
So let's go into the meme of the week. Let's see what's happening here on the meme of the week. Let's pull it up and break it down for us, bro.
Absolutely. Okay, so this is from our friend NoTap in the community. He's saying, tune in, watch closely. This signal is getting louder. Now, when I look at this meme, this is what I love. It's a little dicey, but But I look at it and I see that green candle. Now, if you don't know how to read a candlestick, you probably look at the face of this individual on the screen and you're saying, is that an upside down cross? This is looking a little jank. What are we trying to say here, you know? But no, it's the cult. That's a green candlestick. Okay, breaking through the resistance. All right, setting higher highs, man. NoTap knows this. This is Cult 101. We filter it out. There's a deeper message, right? And we look and we say, what's actually going on here? This is the signal. It's green candles. We're breaking higher highs. We're breaking the ceilings, and we're doing it every day, right? But the one thing on the other side of this upside down cross, these type of notions and the way this character is in the room, just looking at the screen, and then the eye of cult and all that follow the light. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, dude, I can never get away from this dichotomy in crypto. And I know there's a lot of guys in the cult community that feel the same way, especially in the Ooga community as well. But it's like, dude, I look at this Web3 stuff sometimes and I'm like, it's hard not to get apocalyptic, end time revelation type vibes from this stuff sometimes, dude. Like, man, you know, and I look at these Web3 communities, I look at the opportunity we have with this new type of currency, these new models of valuation, all this stuff, and I look at AI, I look at culture, and I'm thinking to myself, is this it? If AI takes our jobs and, you know, we got this eat the bugs mentality, you'll own nothing and be happy, all this kind of stuff. It's like, dude, we have this very hardcore encroaching system of domination, you know, right on top of us. We have these new financial models and ways to build community that seem to liberate us to such a degree, offer these new ways of exposure to grow exponentially in ways we wouldn't be able to otherwise. We've got this hard dichotomy, this juxtaposition of a total enablement and then what could potentially be total domination. And we see these two pipelines colliding, and this meme, it's just, it triggers stuff like that in me. And when I'm looking at it, it's like, yeah, it is the cult. We are trying our best to set up for ourselves, our loved ones, our community members, try to make something, you know, bigger than ourselves, with this kind of never forgetting in the back of our mind, like, bro, we're going into a brave new world.
Yeah.
It's getting a little Orwellian out here. All right. Ministry of love, ministry of truth, you know, big brother, deep state, all this kind of stuff, man, it seems to be heavily encroaching on us. And so when I see stuff like this, this is one of the things, you know, we all have our lore, the way we think about this stuff. But for me personally, when I think about cult, it's like a double entendre. It's like it might look a bit dark, it might look a bit esoteric, but it's like, bro, we're just following the light, trying to do right, trying to make it out, dude, because it's looking tough out here.
Yeah.
Anyways,
absolutely.
man, I love it. I love it.
Yeah. No. And I think, again, that's what we do. And we see how much stuff is coming out of just this humble live stream, you know, this humble effort that we push forth. The community stays growing. Also, it stays tight. I see the close bonds and the tightness of the community. We look at what's happening out there. Yeah, I mean we are. It's almost like we're doomsday preppers in a sense when it comes to the financial world, right? So we have to have that outlook. We have to prep for the worst and hope for the best. You know, when it comes
that's
to
really
this.
it kind of feels that way, and you really can't get away from it the way that things are going. But that's what popped up in my mind about that one, man. And it just when I saw it, I knew it. I had some other stuff queued up, but I saw that one, I was like, I'm putting that one in. That's the one, because that's the vibe that I align with the most. So, you know, and I'll say one last thing before we kind of draw to an end here or get into some questions or whatever. Is I just want to say thanks to everybody I got to meet in Vegas, and everybody that I didn't get to meet. You know, it doesn't make the relationships stronger necessarily. It's just a new dimension to it. All the people that are still at a distance, you know, I cherish those relationships the same way as the ones that I was able to add a bit more color to in different ways and get to meet people. But at the end of the day, you know, it's just such a humbling opportunity because everybody that I met had something nice to say about Cult. Everybody I met was deeply passionate about their own journey on the ledger, their own commitment to XRP. And that to me was such a real experience that was a common denominator amongst the people that were meeting each other and networking, getting to know each other out there. And for me, that was deeply humbling and it was inspirational. And so for everybody, man, I really appreciate it. Colt's already gone farther than I think anybody really expected. And I really can't wait to see what we got coming up over the next year or two.
Awesome. So let's pick up some questions. If people have questions, me and Pheanor are going to stick around afterwards. I don't know if we're still doing, if you guys are still doing the space.
I think we're going over to the dojo.
If you
I think Ching's got a space at 7:30.
7:30. So we have a few minutes here. Continue to tell the community, apologize for not having all of our ducks in a row when it comes to the merch, but we had Pheanor had the Vegas trip last week. There was all of a sudden, and we're really trying to. Like I said, I got a little bit of a quick move because the provider that the company that was going to go ahead and start making them got bought out by another company who's local here that I already know. So now I have to go deal with them. Either way, we're going to have something soon. We don't want to rush it because we don't want to then have a situation where the stuff that we're putting out there is trash and we're going to be responsible and accountable for it. I mean, if we have to take every single order back, we will, because we don't want you guys to be dissatisfied with something just because we wanted to rush it. Right. The other thing that I wanted to say is, Pheanor, I mean, we went from macro Bitcoin structure to this whole live Mastercard pilot on the XRPL. We saw how the community, showing out in Vegas and doing all these awesome projects. We heard Medici with his security for the community, his PSA, right? So if you had to land on one thing that you want every single one of the people watching this live or after the live stream, that what can they act on this week right now to either further their walk into the ledger, to stay safer? Which one of the aspects of the discussion today do you think that we need to be acting on?
Yeah, there's so much that we touched on, and that hopefully that kind of paints the picture, the takeaway picture of, hey, the ledger is alive, it's vibrant, there's a ton of opportunity out here for us. We want to make sure we're taking advantage of that. So my number one takeaway that I'd like to always leave people with here on the broadcast is something we've called a couple times, we've brought it up, but the Great Migration, I think is kind of a nomenclature we've landed on. Yeah. But if you have not made it to the ledger, and you're an XRP holder, you got some homework. You got some work to do. You need to get to the ledger. You need to get a wallet. You need to make sure that you're aware of all the ways that the asset that we all cherish can be used. Okay, because it's important to know how these things can be deployed and how you can get as much value as possible from these assets. XRP isn't going anywhere. Okay, so you don't want to remain stale and stagnant in your understanding of how to take advantage of this digital asset, because it's growing. The environment around it is growing. Yeah. The community around it is growing. The event space around it is growing. And so it would be naive to think that your understanding of it doesn't need to keep up.
Absolutely. That's really, really good. And actually I got, I want to be able to share with our audience as well that we want to be, we want to start sourcing your ideas as well, because Ninja Bunny Quinn asks when called event, any plans or any ideas. We want to hear from you. We want to hear from. I mean, we read every single chat comment and every comment that is posted on the YouTube channel, and we respond to every single comment that you put on the YouTube channel. So we want to hear your ideas, because some of these ideas are gold, and we want to be able to bring them to fruition if it's possible. The other one, we got the Emperor here asking, what's your biggest piece of advice for someone just getting into XRP memes? And that's a really, really good.
Yeah. Probably I would say keep your head on straight. You know, you're going to hear a lot of, you know, life-changing stories. Everybody's got the best piece of advice, best opportunity. You want to come out here and think for yourself. Okay, you want to find a clear signal, high-value signal. You want to find how you can repeat that. You want to make sure that you just keep your head on a swivel and think for yourself. I think one of the best things the best answers I've heard to this question specifically, I think came from Medici. And he said, come out here and get your community first. Come out here and figure out who you're going to listen to, who you can talk to, and get that lay of the land first. And I've thought about it ever since he said it. And I think he's right. Just as much as there's a financial element to this, there's a social element.
Absolutely. And
these are hard to get away from. They're hard to separate.
You know, it's really funny that you say that, because in my experience, like I said, I'm blessed to be able to ride in your coattail to a certain degree, right? Because I was introduced into a community at a level that many people have to really grind to get, right? So that's number one. Number two, also, my experience with XRP and XRPL has been phenomenal. Like it's 1 in a million, right? It gets to enjoy that privilege. But when I fell into this environment, it was the community was already built. But yes, you have to go in there. You have to go in as an agnostic, a skeptical, and really forge those relationships and start to I will say blend with the culture that you're that's speaking back to you, that's talking to you, and when it comes to the memes, you have to see the deeper meaning, learn how to read between the lines, and how you are actually interacting with the culture, because the monetary side of things is I think very self-explanatory. I think, but the lore and the culture is what gets you to the next level, because it sounds funny, but a lot of these things that are said that to the uninitiated mind will mean nothing have a ton of meaning. And that's exactly how we communicate. You know, it is, let me put this analogy here. It's almost like the true meaning of the things that we're saying and sharing, it's encrypted within the meme.
Yeah, man. How true is that?
Yeah.
It's so true, man. Yeah. You know? And it's so true. Even when I think about probably our most common saying, cult rising. Yeah. You know, to some other person, they're probably like, what is this little tag phrase they're trying to do? But for me or somebody in the community, we've been saying that for over a year. And the chart has been doing that for over a year. Yeah. So it does have a lot of meaning, you know?
Yeah. It's not, people, and this is the thing, you know, people think that, and I don't think it's unwarranted, because we're weirdos, and it's okay. Yeah. It is beautiful to be like that. And for those who don't have a way, you know, communication only happened when, the receiver of the information is able to decode it, right? And a lot of the communication that is happening within the ledger and within the communities and inside of the meme phenomena, right, is happening because it's almost like the essence is absorbed by the participant, and you start seeing the meaning that was not presented openly by the generator or the creator of the meme, right? But it is received by the person who has being able to apprehend the essence and now live in it. So I know it's deep, man, but it is phenomenal. It is like you start to swim in the waters of familiarity when it comes to the memes, and they start to make sense to a level that you're like, dude, is this some Gnostic, you know,
some meme magic.
Yeah, it's like, is this some Gnostic Masonic, you know, sixth sense that I'm developing? But it's facts, man.
Man, that's so true, bro. You said it perfect. That's exactly it, man.
Yeah. I got one.
Crazy.
I got one here. Is very, very good. He says, "How do you?" This is from Wedo. He says, "How do you stay motivated to continue in a space where political and cultural paradoxes are always judging?" This is deep right here. Yeah.
This is, man, Guido. Hey, shout out to him. I love this guy's memes. He's one of the best meme artists out there, man. He just gets it. I always love seeing his memes on the timeline. But this is a good point, man, because this is some of the deeper nuances of the ledger, and I think it's just true of Web3 in particular. But let me tell you, there's a lot of passion. There's a lot of deeply held conviction out here. Some people think they're right. Some people think other people are wrong, and everything in between, all right? And there's a lot of money on the line, too, between people. And so in a situation like this, there's a lot of this high political frequency, this tribe over that tribe, they got the success, we didn't, or vice versa. And then you've got deeper human ties. I believe this as an individual. This is my framework for morality. Or, hey, I'm not financially well off. This is extremely meaningful to my life, so I do need to take profit and do right by my family. I can't just sit here. There's all these tensions that are deeply rooted in not only in a community, but intra-community, outside of different communities as they interact with each other, in macro community and everything in between. And so there is always this strong political climate, this culture of paradoxes of maybe my situation is not your situation. But honestly, man, that is what makes it so much fun, because I think about it in the sense of like almost like university, you know, university, unity, diversity. We got to have unity in our diversity so that we can have a university, this place of learning, growing, flourishing, where I can learn things that are not my ready at hand experience, right? And so all of these different things, you know, this is part of that uncomfortable dynamic that allows us to grow at such an exponential rate, because it is uncomfortable, because it is an intense environment. So it allows us that opportunity. It's real. That's why we feel it.
I like the fact that it is just fast paced, and it challenges you all of the time, and that's how you stay growing. It's just a lot of info coming in, and one of the things that you mentioned earlier about what to do is like get in it. There's a lot of new things coming. It is overwhelming when you come in. But what I'm saying is, you know, it's overwhelming when you come in and you have so many things to learn at one time. Right now, you are at a moment where you can start and grow along with the ledger, right? When the ledger is up there already and you're just coming in, it's going to hit you like a ton of bricks. So you'll be better off coming in, learning the culture, learning the tools, start using them, and by the time, you know, this great migration, it's at an all-time high, you're already gonna be a local and not a tourist, and you'll want to do it. You'll
be a local and not a tourist.
Not a tourist.
And you nailed it. And and I think this is what you were saying, and I totally agree. I don't think you'll ever be able to become a local like this again. Because dude, when that saturation hits, it's gonna be
like I come from a background of skateboarding, and I look at all these kind of skateboarding tournaments that they're doing now. I love the new format that they're doing, challenges and stuff like that, and I really enjoy all the new guys, Chris Jocelyn, you know, Trey Flip and El Toro. I've watched that probably, 500 times. I've seen all these new guys doing these challenges. I watch at least 10 to 15 clips of skateboarding a day. But dude, going back and watching people, looking at people like Rodney Mullen or Chad Muska or Tony Hawk, those were the locals, the guys who started it from the ground up, and they still there. Like, these new guys are great, but they're never gonna get the status that these other guys did. Right, the guy who came up with the tray flip, they ascribe it to Rodney Mullen, right? So all of these guys that came up with these tricks, not the guys who are doing them now, but the guys that came up with it, right? It is phenomenal, and I think that kind of allows us to grasp the essence of where we are right now on the ledger. That a lot of us, are gonna be those Chad Muskas. We're gonna be those Tony Hawks. That later on, they might be a lot of people that can be great and do great and come in and innovate and continue to be a blessing to the ledger, but they never gonna be able to be those ground roots guys that were there from the beginning, and I think that's
I firmly believe that.
Yeah.
I firmly believe that. It's a unique opportunity. I don't think it'll present itself again. I think you stated it perfectly. And I think a lot of people are cued in on this. I think that's why you see something like we said. I believe the title of the show was something like the next generational run for
next generational run
is
of
upon
XRP
us.
is upon us. Yeah.
Is that not the case?
Yeah.
This is not clickbait. We literally just went through 5, 6, 7 projects, all different projects on the XRPL, all wildly different goals, wildly different methodologies, different communities, all pushing towards the top of the mountain in their own ways.
Yeah.
Right? If this is not the generational run, I mean, you got XRP in its own position on the broad macro doing what it's going to do. We've got this regulatory situation that XRP's been through, and now we've got on ledger or on chain, more typically called, growth happening, which has always been a strong deficit for the XRP community. Yeah, the XRP ledger. So it's like, dude, it really does feel like we're setting up for that generational run that people have talked about. And whew, you want to talk about life-changing opportunity.
Yeah.
That's why we're sharing it.
It's here. We don't want to gatekeep. I mean, we want to be able to be a blessing and a highway of information for everybody.
Absolutely.
I am constantly sending this, not because I host it or I produce it, but because right. I think is because the 99.9 of the valuable information that come out of here is out of your expertise. I might have one or two good one-liners during the stream, but the information that you give us is worth passing on to friends, family, anybody that literally any and everybody that you think could benefit from this, and that's everybody else that are not already on the ledger. So that's it, man.
Yeah, it's huge.
Well, with that being said, man, I'm going to give it to you so you can take us to the ending screen and just let everybody know that we're blessed by the hundreds of people that showed up today to the show. And Lord willing, we get to see you guys here at the same time on Friday next week, and we will have so much more. Don't forget, as soon as those clips hit the YouTube page, make sure that you comment and you share and you remix. And also, I think you're posting them on your Pheanor X account as well. So make sure that you guys retweet that as well.
Yeah. I just want to say thanks to everybody for showing up again on another Friday in the bank. And just so glad we could share it together. There's so much value all around us on this ledger. People are traveling coast to coast. People are putting their passion on display to be judged and evaluated by others. People are competing for tens of thousands of dollars, $100,000. We've got platforms incentivizing users with 50,000 XRP increments time and time again in 2026. And I look around, I look at the community, I look inward, I look at myself, and I'm making sure, hey, are you doing the most to take advantage of this opportunity that you can right now? Are you making sure you're challenging yourself to grow, dig deep, take advantage, not just for yourself, but for those around you, to learn a new skill set, to grow, challenge yourself, and multiply financially, and also in this environment we find ourselves in with the new developments, paradigm-changing developments in the way we interact together, the way we transfer value in this crypto and new AI information age. It's very important to be tapped in. It's very important to find a group of like-minded individuals that understand these concepts, that understand the challenges ahead of us as a generation and what these opportunities can really do, and the way we can interact with them to maximize their input and maximize their output in our lives. So we want to make sure we're never losing sight of that. We're never losing sight of the goal to grow together. This is just the beginning. We've got years ahead of us, and I can't wait to share that with you all. So thanks again for tuning in to another Cult Cast. Never forget it, Cult Rising. Straight to the top, up only, baby.
Transformation endures, seekers. You have beheld the secrets revealed. You have tasted the sacred waters of understanding and have dwelt within the sanctuary as the oracle channeled truth to the ledger's boundless expanse. The holy transmission may cease, but what you bear within, the knowledge, the perception, the cold energy coursing through your being, this persists beyond time. The grind never ceases when the feet goes dark. It hollows every breath. The awakened do not pause, they amplify, they radiate, they merge with the meat that bends existence to his will. To those who enter as wanderers and now lead us disciples, the gateway stands open, the sanctuary calls you back. The ledger pulses without rest, and neither does the cult's inevitable rise. Until the net broadcast, hold your grip tight on wisdom, lock your inner sight upon what comes. Keep cold near, for the threshold shatters sooner than the blind can fathom. The stream concludes, the ascension accelerates. The cult transcends all, until we meet again in the next unveiling.